Few things inspire fear to the hearts of battle-hardened mech warriors, but the appearance of the massive, crab-like Marauder on the battlefield may just do the trick. Weighing in at 75 tons, standing at approximately 12 meters tall, and wielding massive cannons on its back and in its claw-like arms, the Marauder is the apex predator of the periphery and an icon of the Succession Wars. The first Marauders stepped off of General Motors' assembly lines in the summer of 2612 and became an icon almost overnight thanks to its distinctive profile and intimidating armaments. Due to high demand, often only the most elite pilots were given the honor of piloting the early MAD-3R. Of note was the Star League Defense Forces Advanced Combat and Maneuvering Skills Project, otherwise known as the Gunslinger Program. This program was intended to create elite duelists, pilots trained to fight one-on-one to settle conflicts with minimized collateral damage. During the First Hidden War of 2650, a conflict between the Star League and the Draconis Combine, named such because it essentially did nothing to impact the landscape of the Inner Sphere, this project allowed SLDF pilots to vastly improve their skills, though in the end they could only match the abilities of the Draconis Combine's own duelists. While this program ended with the fall of the Star League, the Marauders themselves lived on, becoming legends in their own right. The earliest Marauders were so venerated by pilots and commanders throughout the Inner Sphere that when the older blueprints were no longer able to be manufactured, and Project Phoenix redesigned the chassis into a more modernized form, the newer variants were immediately disparaged as not living up to the potential of their ancestors, making original Marauders prized objects among collectors and tacticians alike. This change also affected the Marauder II, a 100-ton upgrade to the original design, making it a rare and prized design as well. The Marauder's reputation led it to be popular not only in the Inner Sphere, but far beyond the periphery, appearing in at least 2 new forms during the clan invasion of 3050. The first of these 2 forms was also the first clan Omnimech encountered by the Inner Sphere, the 75-ton Timberwolf, also known as the Mad Cat due to its design combining elements of both the Marauder and the Catapult. The second, encountered much later on, was the Marauder 2C, a direct upgrade which increased the tonnage to 85 and significantly increased its weapons loadout. Returning to the classic Marauder's design, the classic battlemechs, while powerful, still had several downsides. For one, the large cannon mounted on top of the chassis was attached by an extremely thin connector, both increasing the risk of its ammunition feed jamming, and increasing the chance the weapon could be severed with a lucky hit to its long, protruding barrel. The very wide stance the Marauder holds with its crab-like arms and its bird-like legs make it a very broad target that's hard to miss. The low-mounted arm cannons also have difficulty firing over terrain and other obstacles, forcing pilots to climb further over hills, or completely reposition to attack enemies with those armaments. While not necessarily the worst flaws a battle mech can have, any wise pilot will take these into consideration before they step onto the battlefield. Now let's get into some specifics of the designs. The most commonly well-known variant of the Marauder is the MAD-3R. The 3R comes equipped with a Class 300 Vlar brand fusion engine, giving it a top speed of 64.8 kilometers per hour under normal conditions, 11.5 tons of standard armor, and 16 standard heat sinks. The Marauder 3R's primary weapons are a set of particle projector cannons in each arm and a Class 5 autocannon mounted on top of the machine. The particle cannons each fire tightly packed streams of ions that impact targets with such force as to vaporize nearly half a ton of matter in a single blast due to the intense thermal and kinetic energy exerted onto the target. The drawbacks to using these cannons are the intense heat and recoil that will stress both the mech's heat sinks and stabilizing gyro. In addition, particle cannons produce an intense electrical disturbance around their impact sites, so the onboard targeting computer will engage a field inhibitor to automatically reduce the output of any shots taken at targets closer than 90 meters. While this can be disabled, the resulting electrical discharge may render the cannons non-functional or cause other electrical problems within the mech, such as disabling electronic countermeasures. The autocannon, while more conventional in nature, is designed to fire bursts of shells measuring 120 millimeters in diameter, making it excellent at piercing hostile targets effectively at up to 640 meters. The only notable downside to this cannon is the aforementioned mounting weakness that may lead to its destruction more easily than the other onboard weapons. Another variant of note is the Marauder 3D, which replaces the AC-5 with a large laser. This hefty laser cannon fires intensely concentrated beams of gamma rays, making the weapon extremely powerful as well as radiological in nature. The cooling capabilities of this variant have been increased using a quartet of heatsinks in order to keep the extra laser's waste heat from overcoming either the pilot or the machine. The MAD-3R is interesting as it served as a modernized testbed for the Blazer, or Binary Laser Weapon System. The Blazer combines two large lasers into a single weapon system by interconnecting the weapon's cores. This makes the Blazer deal the same damage as two large lasers while being far more heat intense, but does allow the weapon to be slightly lighter. The 4X mounts two of these blazers as well as a pair of short-range missile launchers with 6 launch tubes each. There are far too many production variants to get into here, let alone field modifications, so I'll summarize them all briefly. Most just replace the autocannon with a Lubelin ballistics or large bore autocannon that can easily vary the type of ammunition fired. An ultra autocannon that fires more quickly but may jam more often, or a Gauss rifle, which uses a series of electromagnetic coils to accelerate projectiles to devastating results. Notable pilots of the Marauder include the likes of Commander Sheridan Douglas of the 12th Vegan Rangers, and an enigmatic individual clad in green armor known only as as the Bounty Hunter. Well, those are the basics for the Marauder, a majestic machine that once seen can never be unseen. Thank you for listening. I've been Ian. I will catch you all next time.